What's up, guys? It's that time again, Money Monday. Today's topic for Money Monday is going to be one of the things that I think will accelerate your wealth building process the most, that I have found that's helped accelerate me the most, even like just starting with the basics, like just that little thing my mom taught me about investing is people that you're around. So I was fortunate. I had the first person I was around was my mom that instilled that first little bit about investing and savings into me, that I took with me into adulthood. But then also being around the right friends, people that are ahead of you. So someone like a coach or a mentor or someone is just doing or farther along um, in the process of like whatever you want to get to, they're closer to that or they're there where you want to be. Make friends with that person, network with that person, try to offer that person something of value to, whether you take them out for dinner or just make friends or whatever they want or they need. Try to get around those type of people. So I found as I got to the point where I did all the basic stuff that my mom taught me, I didn't know how to actually become wealthy. I knew I wanted a house. I didn't know how to get a house. I knew I wanted to be a millionaire. I didn't know how to be a millionaire. I just knew how to be like financially stable and responsible, but that's not, funny enough, learning how to be financially stable and responsible is not the same thing as knowing how to build wealth. So I was like, okay, I need to learn more about money than just like, okay, I know investing, but it's like, what do I do now? What do I do like while I'm waiting for compounding interest? I mean, sure, I know that'll build wealth over time. I don't want to wait till I'm 60s and 70s to be wealthy. So that was when I hired my first financial advisor to see if they would be able to put me on track to building the wealth faster. Biggest waste of money. Like, unless unless you find a financial advisor that actually is going to teach you, that's not their job, is to teach. I feel like I've probably said that before, but they didn't really teach me anything. Like they gave me like a budget worksheet, but that wasn't what I needed to actually learn how to build wealth. That's not really their job, is to like help you learn how to build your wealth. They just kind of want to like manage your money, and it can be helpful for some people. I think they do your taxes and stuff, but that was not for me. So actually going to classes and learning was the next biggest step that I took, because that put me in a whole room of other people that were also learning about financial literacy, and I got to network and make friends, or money friends. It's different. They're more like acquaintances, but you guys have shared goals, and passions dealing with wealth and maybe some other things. So being in those rooms full of people that also are on a wealth building journey, they say whoever you are around the most, you will start to become like those people. Like you're the average of your five closest people or closest friends. So while my closest friends are regular everyday people, any of my new intentional kind of networking friendships that I'm making is all people that are in the fields that I want to be in. So when I'm networking, for example, I met a lady at a networking event, named Sonia, who does like multi-unit housing and like does these great deals. She's been doing it for years now. She's got her own like thriving business going. She has double digit returns for all her investors, and literally she's doing like living my dream. She's doing all the cool stuff that I want to do with property. Um, and I was like, shoot, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these properties that she like demolishes the crappy old beat up houses and builds like brand new ones and makes great returns off of that. So I'm like, oh, maybe one of these ones would be one that I would want. So what I'm doing is I'm figuring how I can work with her, how I can help her in her process, and mainly she gets tons of deals all the time. So what she needs is funding for these deals, and that's how she is able to do the deals when she gets the money from the investors, and the investors are able to make money by receiving a percentage or a certain amount of return off of giving her the money, and they get part of the value add after she builds the new things there. And she knows how to build, like, literally for whatever type of house or property that she bought. She knows exactly what to build within the rules and regulations to get the most out of it. And so she's someone that she has experience. I've met her, I talked to her in person, and so now I don't know her, but I know her enough to know that she's legitimate, and I also feel comfortable asking her for credentials and referrals to back up that she is as great as she seems to be. So that's the other thing. Be careful about vetting people and making sure, because like people can look really good on the surface, and that is an issue in certain industries. Like there's multi-level marketing and all kinds of other industries where they build a reputation, but it's not necessarily means you're gonna make money. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna make the money. So make sure you're looking into, don't take everybody at their word. Look into what kind of guarantees they have in place. Obviously nothing is like 100% a guarantee, but a lot of things you can mitigate the risk just by doing a little bit of background research. We call that due diligence. Doing due diligence, and that's why it's so important, going back to like getting the financial education. If you can't afford a mentor or a coach, of course, mentor or coach is what I recommend, number one. I personally really can't wait to have one myself. But in the meantime, going to the classes are way cheaper, usually maybe like a $100 or a few $100 to go to the classes. Also, there's a lot of books. There's a lot of financial literacy books. I'm still making my way through I have a really long list of like probably 30 plus books, most of them having to do with financial literacy and mindset, and we call them self-help books, but they're honestly, they do help you. They help you out a lot. So you can go through those. There's a lot of them that are free right here on YouTube. The amount of audiobooks I've listened to for free on YouTube, it's actually, if you're on YouTube, you shouldn't be shocked by that, by this. But you can listen to and learn a lot of stuff for free. So whatever level you're at, whether you can afford to hire a coach, whether you can afford to go to a class, I know if you're watching this video, you can afford to watch more videos and learn. Even like other podcast people, I really like Minority Mindset. He has great stuff on wealth building. And then yeah, again, like being in those places where people are going to raise you up. Like, what do they say? Rising tide lifts all ships. So usually I find that people want to be helpful when they see someone that like genuinely wants to learn and also wants to be helpful. So for me, I want to be helpful and being a financial coach to people that haven't gotten to where I've gotten to yet. So I already want to bring people up with me, but the people that are wealthier than me, that are even higher than me, a lot of them also, they want to bring people like me up as well. So it's like everyone reach to the person behind you, and we just keep pulling everybody along for the good of everyone, because it helps them to bring people up as well, which is like why I got into this, because then they have more people to do deals with. They have more people to do partnerships with. They have more people to build wealth with, because the more people that know about how to build wealth, the more people are in the community of partnerships and deal making. And then for me, as a queer Black woman, our community tends to be the most underserved. I mean, it's like multiple minorities all at once. Now, I will say Black women are doing very well in terms of education and I would say economically, compared to some other demographics, we're still definitely not at the top, but we are like very much seem to be on average a lot of go-getters and a lot of ambitious people. Black women are pretty freaking ambitious, and so I love being part of that group. But we still tend to be underserved and underrepresented, and like the black community as a whole is still way behind with the wealth gap and just building generational wealth and all that stuff. So I personally, my why is to bring up the whole community with me. So I love to teach, coach. Like there's a video I watched. There's like, you have your pluses, you have your minuses, and you have your equals. So your minuses are the people that are behind you, or they haven't gotten to where you're at yet. Your pluses are your people that are above you, and then your equals, that's self-explanatory on the same. So you want to have a balance in each category. If you can. If you're hanging around all minuses and equals, how are you going to elevate? How are you going to get better at whatever it is that you want to get better at? You can't. Or it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be much more challenging if you don't have any pluses that are kind of helping you out. And if you are the plus, then you're also getting drained all the time by your minuses, or your equals. Y'all are all like just doing the same thing anyway, so that's not really as growth inducing. Now, if you only have all pluses, then you're kind of like the drain on them. So you definitely have to look for ways to add value to your pluses so that they're not drained by you just being a learning little sponge all the time. Like you want to be able to give them something that it's worth it for them to constantly be like pulling you up. Either that, or you just have like a close relationship where you guys enjoy each other and they enjoy bringing you up. Maybe they volunteered to mentor you. There's been cases where I've seen people get mentors because someone was like, oh, I see the potential in you, I see what you're doing, and I would like to bring you up, and here, come shadow me or come work with me, whatever. You can ask to work with people for free or for something that like makes it a benefit for them. I for sure, if I found out specifically what Sonia needed, which is the funding, and I was like, okay, I can do funding. But if I didn't know what she needed, that would be my first job, would be like finding out what would help her and what would be useful to her, because I know what I need from her is like learning and the knowledge, and to like build up the skill set, but I have to offer something in exchange for that. So yes, funding the deals, I'm like, okay, well, if I allow you to make more deals, then I get to see how this process works, because I'm giving you something that you need for this, and then I can kind of like look at the notes and be like, okay, what's going on? How does this work? What is going on here? And like not be annoying. And also like continuing to, there's like walkthroughs and things again on YouTube. YouTube University is real, y'all. Walk through videos and like keep looking at scenarios, but of course there's nothing as good as like being in it yourself and having to do it yourself. Like nothing makes me learn more than just throwing myself in, as uncomfortable as it is. I'm trying to get my first deal now. Currently I finished all the trainings that were mandatory to start this first few deals, and I did my course in safety so I don't get ripped off. So I'm like, okay, I need to just like dive head first in and start trying to do a deal. And like the more I try to do it, I know I'm gonna bumble first. I already bumbled because I told her that I was ready to start funding deals, and she asked me what my terms were, and I was like, terms? What are terms? I didn't say that. But then I had to go look up terms. And like I kind of had an idea what they were, but I was like, I have no idea what I should charge for. Like I heard it used as examples only, but having to put it into practice and actually tell somebody this stuff is a whole different story. And that's the kind of experience that you get when you actually go and try to do things. Then people ask you for stuff and you're like, oh, okay, let me go figure out what this is. Oh, let me go figure out what this is. And thankfully, I'm the type of person that likes to research things and look things up. So I'm always going to figure it out and find it out, but I wouldn't have known how to create my terms. Fortunately, I have a little help from a system that was already in place for terms. But I would not have found that if I hadn't just jumped in and offered her money to fund a deal. So yeah, jump in, do those action steps. You can find free coaching as well. So you can find whatever you want on Google. Use Google, use YouTube. Whatever level of help you're able to afford, whether it be free or paid, get as much stuff at that level as you can. If you can't afford to get classes, get as many classes as you can get. If you can't afford to get a mentor or a coach, just vet them. Make sure they're legit and they're trusted by more than just you. And pay for that mentor, pay for that coach. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Money Monday today. Just on, your network. This is like really cliche now in all the classes that I've been in, all the communities that I've been in around this, but your network determines your net worth. That's like the favorite phrase, the favorite saying, your network determines your net worth. So I will leave you with those parting words to think on and ponder, and hopefully go further. Get out of your comfort zone. In this area, you got to get out of your comfort zone to build the wealth. All right, let's get that wealth. Until next time, peace out.